I'm going to start out by setting up for some confidence building. We're going to use the old tarp. Oakley's only seen this tarp once, and I just asked him to walk across it actually yesterday. I'm going to get him out, but I'm going to ask him to back out of his corral and use it as an opportunity to start convincing him to use the thinking side of his brain. And we start every single session with desensitizing, touching him all over, head to toe, back feet, front feet, and the session is no different. Then I'm going to start touching him all over. I'm trying to make my way down to his feet because one of our next exercises we're going to start doing is going to be picking up the feet. I run through the same series of groundwork exercises with every horse that I start. So this is no different than every single other session I've done with Oakley. We begin by yielding his hindquarters. He's just starting to learn a new exercise, another way to back up. So what I'm doing here is tapping the air and asking him to back up from a distance. Then I transitioned to backing using steady pressure. This is actually the first time I've ever tried this with him, and I think he did fantastic. You can see that as he walks in front of the camera here, I'm actually hardly applying pressure at all, just using the open face in my palm, and he's backing up off of just that little feel there. Here's another new exercise I started doing with him the other day. This is actually the best he's ever done it. When I'm yielding his forequarters, I'm asking him in this instance to take his left front foot and cross it over his right front while keeping his hind end in one position. And then I'll transition to the other side and ask his right front to step over his left front here in a little bit. All I'm looking for is just one step. We'll get more advanced with this later, and I'll ask him to take several, and we'll be able to do a 360 without stopping. But for a beginner and him just being introduced to this exercise, I'm really just looking for one quality step. And Oakley's been lunged before, but he's getting better at it every single session. He's pulling on the lead less and less, so you'll see a nice rainbow form between him and I, a nice bend in that lead rope. And I'm going to start off by lunging him and talking to his hindquarters. So I'm going to yield him right here, yield his hindquarters. And I'll do that on both sides a couple of times before moving into actually talking to his front end, talking to his forequarters and moving him around. So here you can see the lunging style change. I actually step in front of his drive line and talk to his forequarters instead of yielding his hindquarters like we had done previously right there. Not paying attention, so a little bump on the halter. Keep him going. And then step in front of that drive line and send him back out. And I figured we'd add some confidence building to today's session. So now I'm going to start asking him to be responsible for himself over a scary new object, and that being the tarp. He took a little bit of convincing here, but not too much, and he was able to get right on over that. And then I'm actually going to send him over the tarp a couple of times. This is new as well. He's used to going along the fence, but never back and forth over the tarp. And then all the desensitizing exercises that I did in the beginning, I'm just going to replicate them again, but with him standing on the scary object. And then we're going to wrap it up with a little bit of practice of leading beside.